way through it. But still very good players both are. But I think this is another group of death, and people will need a lot of skills and a little bit luck to go through this.
All right, so let's talk about the matchup that we have in game number one. We see Paladin ban there, so Lovelychook will not be allowed to play that. Of course, for Nightwalk, he has had his Shaman ban, so two very, very strong classes in and of their own right. But in this matchup, we're going to have a pretty standard combo druid versus for Lovelychook versus the Patron Warrior coming out of Nightwalk.
Yes, and there's a lot of tech cards that we see Lightwalk actually put in. This thing Swamppool is one of them, and we see and Pyromancer. Of course, Pyromancer is not that uncommon compared to other things like Kukalon Elite, which just appeared recently. Pyromancer, people used it before, but still you need another spell to synergize with it. If you just use Whirlwind, even say Revenge, then you don't need another spell to use it in conjunction. Lovelychook CS Oot didn't quite know what this warrior is, and this Eclat of Pain doesn't suggest anything. Every warrior has Eclat of Pain on this. You just kind of brain for when you're making up your deck. Keyword Grove coming down, probably thinking about Silence Deny the card draw, which is also very reasonable because you're not in a rush to kill the Swamper. Um,
It might seem a little bit weird to go for the silence there instead of just getting the easy kill on the Swamp Ooze, but you realize that playing against Patron Warrior, the big limitation for them, it's another one of the decks kind of like Murloc Paladin, where if you let the deck get all 30 cards, they kind of just win because there are some crazy combos that they can do there. So you just have to limit their card draw as much as possible, and in some ways that's actually even more important than killing off the minions on the board. Just limiting their card draw and limiting their options and preventing them from getting off those big not blade flurries, but whirlwind effects to power up all of the minions in their deck.
yeah, I mean that's what we'll say, Rapid. But at the same time, the win that Druid win against Control is also limit their choices, and just to get as many cards as you can, and limit your opponent's option, which is also always a good thing in whatever the uh, competition is. You can play that in StarCraft, you can play that in real sports. I mean physical sports. So, um, and Nightwalk, what does got you? Oh, this kind of production, uh, no touching value from the Chinese team there. Yeah, mage power is really good. It's not at this moment, but also in the future, that you can just ping your patrons. You don't have to uh, spend a whirlwind to spend a real card of yours to spawn in new patrons. Now Lovelychook has a choice to make.
All right, so gonna see a little bit of an early Doctor Boom. There is still that Pyromancer on the board, which is kind of another interesting card. This is one of the more teched up versions of Patron Warrior that I've seen. Not all of them include a Korkron Elite. It's sort of like a mini Grom, and I think this is the first time that I've seen Wild Pyromancer in the deck too as another whirlwind effect.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, uh, Pyromancer would be a tie card in the old patron because you can use it with the old Warsong commander, and it's another 3 attack to the face, and it's a 3 attack. Um, uh, Additionally, with the patrons and the frozen berserkers, so but doesn't have a charge in this version, so kind of problematic for NightWalk. But maybe he thinks, oh, how I play the new patron with Druid and other things is I pay more attention with ball control and with just floating the ball with patrons and other things. So I'm bringing a minion. A minion could have been with me with the ball certainly. So um, no patrons for patron warrior yet.
Yeah, no patrons yet. It's only turn 6, so turn 6 is usually the turn that, like, ideally you want to get your patrons off on. You can get them as early as turn 5 with things like um, a Death Bite already used to get that Death Rattle effect, and then an Inner Rage. You can get 4 patrons on turn 5, which is about the earliest that you can see that patron combo out there. But instead, it looks like we're going to go for playing one of the threats, that Frothing Berserker, and just trying to power it up as much as possible.
Yeah, that's definitely. You think go for the clear on South Belcher. I think he is. Uh, yeah, actually, Lovelychook, I think he was playing around execute with this Slouch Belcher instead of Druid Claw, but the problem of this is that your Sludge Belcher itself, I mean, if you don't count the slime, it's actually less durable than the Druid Claw. Now he drew a new Keep the Grove. I think you can get a silence on it, and you probably have to. Actually, you can attack in your slime and BGH it, but this is the new patron. You have Dr. Boom, you have um, Grom, you have probably a random rag, even though very rarely, but it's possible to BGH on. And you don't actually have any combo piece yet, so you might be thinking, I need to play the long game, so I must save my. Oh, actually, use both. So this is really interesting for me. Um, Nightwalk, um, Lothab is a good card, and he could still get ball killer if he didn't. He does get the patron next turn and doesn't get Lothab from Lovelychook next turn. So just I think you just play the Lothab here.
Right, and I mean, if you do play Lotheb there, then not only do you keep yourself from worrying about dying to combo, which I think, yeah, combo would be lethal if he did have it, and the innervate that he needed there too. But I think he's actually just gonna double whirlwind. No, wants to play in explosive or unstable ghoul instead. That's it's kind of a weird spot to be in because as the patron warrior, you never want to be forced to use up all of your whirlwind effects early, just clearing off the board and clearing minions, because then turns out you don't have any of your own, which is somewhat ineffective. But this time around, it's still kind of
Well, you're starting to
strange.
look at the board, and you're actually on 21. You are probably in combo range. You don't know what your opponent's hand look like, so it's reasonable that even though your opponent doesn't have the mana for Force of Nature into Savage Roar, but they may have uh, double Savage Roar or something like Savage Roar into Swipe, or actually on turn A, you can have Drill Claw charged into 4 minions Savage Roar. So definitely understandable for NightWalk to get rid of at least the highest attack minion on board, which is also has a very low health. And we see Grom 7.3% chance. Does it get it? Get it? Is lethal? No, Amos is the opposite.
All right, now still waiting to see what the are we gonna see counter Lotheb here? Just like I play my Lotheb, well, it looks like Nightwalk did not, wasn't really phased by anything. The last turn, it's like Ancient of Lore. Ancient of Lore is not really, I guess it's kind of a tempo play because you get a 5/5 body on the board, but 5/5 for 7 isn't quite, a good trade. And of course, you've got the draw 2 cards. That's pretty worth it, but it does set up for pretty interesting couple of turns here. So I think it was Nightwalk who is playing a deck that needs all those whirlwind effects for your patrons, for your Warsong commanders. Instead, he's used most of them to just either clear the board before the patrons ever even get there, or to maybe, stall up for something that we don't know a little bit later on.
Yes, that's definitely a possibility, but
I'm not sure there will be a little bit later on.
Yeah, but following the trajectory and that Nightwalk had played, I think he's really afraid dying. But as a patron warrior, your resources is running low. That you might be unable to really kill your opponent and get a patrons, give your opponent pressure in time to win you the game later on. So basically, you just think about surviving instead of winning here for Nightwalk, and that's something Lovelychook definitely wants to see.
We're gonna go ahead with the keeper and try to keep things as even as low key as possible. Instead of going for the charge minion there, just taunting up that Druid of the Claw and making sure that his Marines are kind of spread out enough to deal with any of these like crazy, or that his minions on the board are spread out enough so that it's difficult. I was like, wait a second. His minions are spread out enough so that it doesn't make it too easy to clear off with anything. Combos coming up. He's already got it in hand, and that means that for Nightwalk, he is probably a little bit afraid of dying this next turn. Although with 4 armor coming back his way, he's probably not in too much trouble immediately.
Yeah, we know the combo is 14. We have 18. That's 20 lethal this turn. Not yet, but with this low step and this, I think, charge on the way, I think actually he doesn't have a armor up gain any longer from his hero power and his low step. Nightwalk really, I don't think he can deal with all 3 minions, and that's probably it.
Well, we get a chance to see 14 health versus 14 health, and of course, we all know what's coming out. It's turn 10 versus a combo druid, and that's going to mean that Lovelychook takes game number 1 versus Nightwalk. It feels kind of weird to celebrate it like that, because it's just like, hey, it's a druid combo, and it kills you because you left stuff on the board. Well, that's kind of the situation. Terrible, not necessarily bad draws, but no real way to get draws from your deck there. The Inner Rage never really worked. Those Acolytes, first one was silenced, so it's like you're not going to get card draw off of that. And eventually, Nightwalk just kind of ran out of options, forced to use too many Whirlwinds to just clear off the board. And that's going to mean a surrender here in game number 1, giving the World Elite player Nightwalk a little, or the newbie player Lovelychook a little bit of a lead.
流行的时候就开始喜欢盗贼了，然后我觉得现在刀游贼还算比较强吧。
啊，若接着很萌啊，
Yeah,
不愧是
very
现在。
interesting interview from Lovelychook there. The most interesting part is that yeah, I really like Go Series and I participated in last grand finals as well. He didn't just participate in that grand finals. He also won the whole thing and the golden heartstone statue. So he is looking forward to doing it again. But first of all, he has to win this best of 5 with NightWalk here.
Absolutely, and you can see 1-0. Lovelychook is well on his way to a repeat performance in the grand finals. We'll see if he can make it there. Running Reno Lock versus the combo druid he just played. So should be fairly similar combo druid deck, but have seen one Reno Lock deck earlier. I believe that was being played by IceFox. Yeah. So I've already seen one Reno Lock today. Hopefully this one will work just as well. But of course, it's always really a struggle to play Reno Lock versus decks like Freeze Mage, decks like any Druid deck, because they just burst you down so that you can't get your health total as low as you'd like to, or as low as most Warlocks would like to.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, Zulog doesn't like to get the health to low, but that's a different story. Uh, but yeah, in theory, should be a really good matchup for Druid. But actually, we see in the past weekend that actually the Warlock actually win a lot of matchup for the single fact that really that sometimes the real knock just can't get a ball that Druid can deal with. Oh, that's Doomsday, which is often seen in many Chinese tournaments, and Nightwalk actually learned something from, I presume, Godslayer.
All right, well, here comes Bran Bronzebeard down onto the field to do absolutely nothing. A little bit anticlimactic there, but Lovelychook's kind of ramping on the idea, or banking on the idea that there won't be a way to clear it this early on in the game. I guess there is technically a way to clear it now with Power Overwhelming and Dark Bomb.
You can just Dark Bomb it, you don't want to waste.
Oh yeah, that's true. You can just Dark Bomb it. Was not counting. I thought it would have been a one-off, but yeah, just Dark Bombing it takes away your Dark Bomb, so that's a little bit unfortunate. But I don't think you really care. There's Faceless Manipulator. It's definitely not a card that you see in every single Reno Lock, but it's still pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, the way you can make your Reno Lock deck is you just put one of each card that appear in the hand lock deck once upon a time. So Faceless Manipulator is something that you used to put in the hand lock deck when there isn't many good options. So definitely a good choice is there, and we might see the old combo of Faceless into BGH. Which is a lot of people use when they opponents play a Ragnaros back in the days where just legendary minions just win you the game. But not anymore. You need other things to help you to win the game as well. And just a casual Siphon Soul on the Asian Nor doesn't want to kill the Start Belcher too easy, and actually you got a easy trade with that Asian Law with onto the Start Belcher. So good choice from Lovelychook there. Now he can choose to either abuse it or Mortal Coil. I think in Mortal Coil to draw a card here is possible.
Always kind of interesting to see kind of the order in which cards are played. Obviously very important, but for Faceless Manipulator, it's all about what you facelessly manipulate, or whose face you are manipulating. But if it's faceless, they don't have a face to manipulate, so how are you even doing it? It's one of Hearthstone's greater mysteries. But at least for us tonight, we know exactly how kind of NightWalk is getting manipulated here. He's got a crazy huge hand, but still has yet to find big ways to use it effectively.
Yeah, I mean, if he draws card from Nation Law here, he will be overdraw next turn. So, really, I think you can swipe. Yes, you can swipe into Raz. Then you just keep your hand size just reasonable within the range of the sustainability of your deck. So, I don't think you play Savage or Hero Power, and you really need meaning to. Oh, both sides of combo in hand is really painful for Nightwalk, but he used just one innovate here, so it might be some crazy combo with Thorson coming up. Of course, Lovelychook wouldn't allow that if he's able to stop the Thorson from. Temple Reno, I think Lovelychook, this is actually a good decision. I really like it. He probably thinking about playing Draxus next turn because you have two taunts, and Druid is has very bad hand, that, as you can tell. But Lovelychook probably don't know how bad that hand is. Uh, what what exactly looks like. So Sylvanas might be the play here. Navchuk doesn't have anything to punish it, and Swipe will reduce the health of taunts again. Oh, actually, you play the combo here. You have Arcane Golem that you can. That's one thing you can faces manipulate. That you Arcane Golem, you power overwhelming, you can double power overwhelming since you got that Dark Peddler, then you combo your opponent down from 24, which is much more than the Druid combo. So we see Healbell coming down, also heal for 3. I think Naoshuk is really using his heals a little bit too liberally. So maybe got punished very hard.
All right, well, where is that? I don't know. I would say I mean, Swipe is the dream here, right? Unfortunately, it's not going to be a reality for our good friend Nightwalk.
Yeah, he has already used both his Swipe, unless he can get some Raven Idol. I don't think it's happening anytime. This is awkward. Oh, you can hear power. Get the clear. And now this is a question for Lovelychook. You can play Arcane Golem. You no longer give your opponent a mana crystal because Druid is already on turn 9, and but you don't have anything to win with if you play the Arcane Golem here. But otherwise, you don't have anything to win with as well. You can you can play the Swamp Pool, you can play Halfray into Swamp Pool, but you just don't have good minions to occupy the board for you to just kind of fend off the aggression from Druid to make Druid have to play offensively. And Shredder is not the thing you can play here. You can tap, but what does that do? It doesn't do anything, and I think he's dead. I think this combo-oriented version of Ruoji is not really feasible as far as playing against Druid. Yeah, there's the combo.
对，宇宙这边的德鲁伊是跑掉了，那现在双方剩下了术士和战士，弱鸡这边剩下了术士和萨满，就两边都是。有点难啊。不，他的弱鸡的宇宙树，刚才输了。然后这个异形夜行这边还剩下一个术士一个战士。对，一个术一个战，这个术士的形态还是未知的，只是我们觉得可能不是动物园。对，其实术士打术士不好说，主要是看这个术士内战，如果对方是宇宙树的话，有斩杀的是有优势的。对，是的。他这个术士带的也是。
All right, well, that's going to do it for at least our first couple of games. So we got more coming your way as the Hearthstone Gold Series continues. Once again, this is just our second upper round match between NightWalk and Lovelychook. We've got more games coming up after this, as there will be 5 best of 5 series being played tonight. So if you thought there were crazy games from other tournaments that you've seen, this one is going to take a long time to decide who is the best player out of this group. Of course, there you can see it tied up at 1-1 with NightWalk, your player on the left-hand side of your screen in the red. Of course, now both players are on the left-hand side of your screen, right as I say that. But he's going to be bringing out that, same, I always forget, Patron Warrior. This time it's going to be taking on the might that is most likely some sort of zoo variant. Because there's that. Okay, that's an arcane golem.
It's a combo Reno log that we just saw actually.
Okay, combo Reno log. All right. Okay, I'll take your word for it for now.
Zombie Chow will easily be dealt with very well. And actually, this Echo Pain coming in right on time, the network actually might have had some issues with his hand, but this owl maybe go for the silence. A single tap. Yeah. That's just a little bit bluff from Lovelychook there. We saw him doing this last year, and go for the inner rage to draw a card, but Fairy Waters is not what you wanted, and on the other hand, Imp Game Boss is definitely something you want to see on turn 3. You can kill this Utter Pain if the warrior doesn't draw anything like I mean, he might be thinking about the possibility of death by that, but I think you play nevertheless because this is 3 attack Utter Pain. You need to deal with it. He might be also thinking about the silence and Dark Bomb, which will deny further card draw. You just silence it, which will be okay. Pyromancer. I'm really interested about what card did he card to get a Pyromancer, because if you caught something like Battle Rage, it might be the reason that he lost the first game. You don't have enough cards in the end. And I think you play the yeah, you can play both with a coin as well. Low save might be coming down for NightWalk here, that you probably want to save the execute for something really big in the future, even though you probably know there's a combo from the faceless you just saw in the last game. So, I mean, you can also save low save for the combo that might come in your way, and you decide to play it very differently. Prison Berserker is a decision, since you already seen now there isn't that big a possibility to see Spellbreaker, but the Twilight Drake would be very nice, and actually this play will be rather punished by that abusive surgeon, which we see from time to time from the combo log. NightWalk is not happy, and his decision to get a bit greedy with that that the Aquila Paint's killing the 1/1. Maybe get a punch here. And Twilight probably something you want to execute, because this combo Reno Lock is not really getting the board, and you have another weapon in hand to use with. Now Lovelychook is in a kind of conundrum. I think you play either Mortal Coil or the Soulfire. Since you already had a combo in the future, you may want to just draw them instead of get another damage spell, which might discard something you want.
Right.
Nothing to implode on. You can play Sylvanas, but you are afraid of the death by get a free Sylvanas, which actually may enable NightWalk to play the.
The Grom should be coming down this turn. I mean, there's no real reason to play. You just clear off the Sylvanas with the Death Rattle from your Death Spite, and then kind of just go from there. The downside from doing that, Shrink, is that you lose that one Whirlwind effect, and of course you never want to lose the ability to activate your patrons, like the Death Rattle is so effective at doing there from that very volatile person in almost every teenager's life, where they have to go out on their own, start making their own decisions. They're like, wait a second, I have to be all big and grown up now. Well, that's the grown up decision by NightWalk. He's like, all right, do I keep trying to get patrons? Do I try to get Frothing Berserkers? Nope, time to just try to kill the other guy. Unfortunately, it's going to be, actually a little bit more effective than I expected. With only 2 there on that implosion means that it's going to be an 8 damage Warsong commander. So pretty effective there, and maybe more than just pretty effective, with now most likely Grom coming down.
Yeah, talking about the evil that patron is coming up. From coming down, the problem is that you don't have anything to enrage it, which means you got only full attack. And actually, you know that your opponent has Reno, so kind of decision that you want to save your Grom for the kill instead of just getting damage in early. So I think you just hero power and pass. I mean, you don't want to play the tempo patron or tempo green patron. So, oh, that's one part of the combo.
Oh man. All right. So, in case you guys are wondering, way back in the day, one of the ways that you used to win games with Warlock is that you would have Leroy Jenkins. Yeah, you'd play Leroy out of your hand. So you go Leroy, double power overwhelming, and then faceless it. And turns out that's actually a ridiculous amount of damage. It was 12 damage apiece, so for a total of 24 damage once you had enough mana to do it. This is actually a little bit more accessible than that because you can play the entire combo for, I think, 13 mana. So you do need to discount it with Emperor if you want to play everything. Oh, actually, no. It's 5, 8. Yeah, it's a perfect 10 mana.
Yeah, perfect 10 mana, but on most occasions for Reno Unlock, you just got a 9 mana combo to play with because you don't have to, you don't have the second power overwhelming unless you get it from a peddler like we saw last time. So NightWalk just feels that, but luckily he has the execute to clear the heal bar, but Hellfire should take care of this, and I think you tap first.
Yeah, you definitely tap first to see what's inside, and then Hellfire. Oh man, there you go, right on time. That's Emperor to discount some stuff, but most likely just Hellfire here, because it's a small cost to pay 3 health and a card to completely limit your opponent's kind of way of doing everything. It's like way of winning the game, way of controlling the board. It just doesn't exist. So you take out the patron, and pretty good. Now, oh, actually, that's pretty cool because you've got a Grom and an activator. That's a lot of damage. It's 10 damage to be precise, but still not enough to pick up a win.
This really feels bad for NightWalk that he doesn't get a draw from that slam. Yeah, actually, you play. Oh, that's a combo we talk about. If NightWalk decides to go that way, you can face this and BGH. So, nothing really but Thorson, and the patron was kind of sad to meet his old friend. But you know what is better than Thorson? Dr. Boom.
Dr. Boom is pretty good, Shrink, and now we'll get a chance to see how to take care of Dr. Boom. Turns out...
Yeah, I think you get Dr. Boom yourself, which, I mean, essentially it's a War Golem, but 4 mana War Golem, I think you will take it, and you BDH your opponent's Dr. Boom.
Yeah, that's... I mean, to be fair, this is a little bit of the reverse of what you usually see from Dr. Boom, which is that it magically, summons the BGH to your opponent's hand. This time the BGH got there a little bit ahead of schedule, but I'm pretty sure he knew that there would be a Dr. Boom coming up pretty quickly. So actually just going to go ahead and take out the Boom bots with Demon Wrath. Both of those will die, and actually does kill off Emperor. But of course, speaking of killing off, there's the BGH coming down, clears the board, and sets up next turn for either Jiraxis or Twisting Nether. A whole bunch of options there at Lovelychook's disposal.
Yes, definitely. I think it would be very good on this occasion. That actually Patron War doesn't have any burst anymore. That you go for the uh, directors on turn and but he now has a hunter hero power, so it will be interesting to see. It's essentially heal for 4 as well. So and you get a ton. You're not afraid of 呃 silence because you know they don't have any silence, and this really becomes an uphill battle for the patron warrior.
I mean, how do you really deal with this? I could just picture Nightwalk like sitting on his back porch, and this assassin like drops down from the roof to come try to kill him, but the assassin like when he drops down, he like falls into a pit that's cleverly covered, and then Nightwalk like looks over him from the top of the pit and is like, "You just tried to kill me, but you screwed it up, and now you can't do anything, so you're helpless at my control." And then you just like you grant him mercy, and that's kind of what's happening here, because now we get to see another game. He lives on to fight another day, and we'll see how effective that fight is now that it's 1-2 in Lovelychook's favor.
Yes, you know Shakespeare, and very much he needs that.
对，而他摸到奴隶主的时候，对面术士的地狱链也在手上，对 AOE 太多了。
So it's this is still our second series of the day, and that means that once it's going to be 5 best of 5s. So you find out who wins between the first 2 players, or between the first 4 players in the first 2 games, and then you play the winners match, and then you play the losers match, and then you pit the loser of the winners with the winner of the losers, and that match will give us your second player to advance. But as is, don't worry about that. We're coming into game number 4 of our second best of 5 here between Lovelychook, your newbie player, on the bottom half of your screen, and of course for World Elite on the top is Nightwalk. I was like halfway doing a dramatic pause, and then on the other half I was like, wait a second, is it Nightwish, Nightwalk? And I was like, no, that's my favorite band. But either way, this is going to be Aggro Shaman versus the previously mentioned Patron Warrior. It's a little bit newer, it has some new cards in it, but it's still kind of the same idea. You want to get Blade Flurries off to propagate those patrons and hope that other decks cannot deal with them.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the ways that you play this matchup.
And this is actually pretty good for Patron Warrior, aside from, I think, like 3-4 cards. So Patron's pretty good to propagate versus most of the actual minions that this deck plays. However, unfortunately, some of the spells are pretty problematic. Things like Rockbiter Weapon, Lightning Bolt, and Earthshock are all great ways to stop patrons in their tracks. So definitely some counters in the deck to the actual patrons. But the other goal of the Patron Warrior is to actually just kill you. And of course, if you're trying to play that game versus an Aggro Shaman, you're probably going to have a few struggles.
Yes, definitely. And actually, what's more common that in this matchup is just that Lovelychook, the Aggro Shaman, just kill the Patron Warrior, but the Patron gets too many armors, and you are never reaching the threshold that you can go for the kill. So we will see how this game turns into, because NightWalk hasn't drawn any armor smith yet. He actually now I started thinking he might actually cut one armor smith to make the Pyromancer into the deck, so that might turn problematic for him in this matchup. So for Nimurgatan, definitely useless in this matchup. It's a 1/3. You can kill some of small minions of shamans with this, but you definitely don't want to lose your hero power and turn into something else.
All right, well, now kind of an interesting situation for Lovelychook to be in. He's like, all right, I've got this big aggro deck. What am I gonna do with? Oh, wait a second. He's got a taunt. He's got some whirlwinds to clear out just about everything on the board. And just like, oh, well, couple of options. One is to Earthshock the Unstable Ghoul, but at that point, what do you feel like? What do you feel about Earthshocking the Unstable Ghoul and then using the Abusive Sergeant to empower your Argent Horse Rider to kill off that Frothing Berserker strength?
Oh, well, I mean, there might be a play, and you can also play another Argent Horse Rider just to kill the Frozen Berserker, because you want to save that rock battle weapon once your Doomhammer arrives. You want that rock battle weapon actually do 6 damage instead of 5. Actually, 2 in this case. So I think you do that way. Of course, Abusive Sergeant is another good way to get 2 damage in. So I definitely approve this line of play from Lovelychook. He might be thinking about playing a second Argent Horse Rider, but he might be a little bit overkill and too vulnerable to something like a whirlwind that we actually see NightWalk has in his disposal. So, oh, that's the Swamp Pool that we saw in the first game, and you do some work in this matchup. Execute on the tunnel truck. You normally don't want to use it on one mana minion, but tunnel truck presents a lot of threat in this matchup. So good decision from NightWalk here. NightWalk here can get the full clear, but the good news for him is that Lovelychook didn't play the rock battle weapon. Oh, I mean, that's not necessarily a bad news. He can swamp it anyway, but he won't be able to place the combo the Doomhammer into rock battle next turn as well. Oh, that's a flame juggler.
这个非常少见，现在基本上就是最次是飞刀。是的，最早的版本是这样的，是带火焰。
Very interesting choice of tag indeed there from Lovelychook. We see that flame juggler actually appear in aggro druid decks, but definitely this is the first time I've seen it in aggro shaman. I mean, you could do it, but still very fascinated to see it actually happening. You actually could kill this Kukulon Elite just as it coming down, not wasting the another execute is NightWalk there, but Lovelychook can play his hand in full and play 2 heroes in this turn. I guess, yeah, you play this, go to face, never lucky. Oh, but Tom is very good, and what? I think you went to Warlock. Yes, you draw a card. Lightning Bolt, not bad. But Lovelychook really vexed about whether to kill this Kukulon and which one did he go with it. And I think his concern was a whirlwind, which will turn into his nightmare. Whirlwind. We might see execute as well. Otherwise, NightWalk is floating mana again. You don't kill the. Oh, this is interesting. That you kill. Lovelychook finally see the Doomhammer, but we'll get sad news.
就冲这过牌就优势了，被缴械没用，他还有一把。场 上还是相对来说就是战士还能吃些伤害。
我觉得夜行这套牌是不是过牌太少了一点？他根本就转不起来啊！
战斗怒火从来没有过到3张以上，
是的，一直
最多过2张。
过2张。
对他加了张鱼人，加了张小软，加了2个副卡龙。
带了太多的
But
功能
过牌。
talking about bad news, the armor smith in NightWalk's hand is another bad news for him.
他觉得这样下去不行。
It's like a hero power. Oh, got a healing. That's not bad. I think you go for healing, which essentially is the same. Actually, it's better than you can heal your minion as well, but I don't think you want to. But basically, healing is as good as armor, lesser healing, I should say, because healing is a justice card give you.
这倒是。
他选择的是奶。
Did indeed go for the healing and Lovelychook. Oh, another card draw. I think go for it. You don't really care how much. And yeah, you just went for full meaning here. You are not afraid of Brawl because they probably don't have.
我觉得不如天师加一个闪电剑解掉小软吧。他这样不是送掉了一个天书吗？那只能。
Nightwalk is in relative pain because he doesn't have anything to continue this trade with, and he actually falling behind. But hello, random Dr. Boom.
这回下是不加打脸了。
For another Doomhammer, this might really be problematic for Lovelychook. Is there any lethal? That's 4. That's actually 6 this turn. I don't think there's any lethal this turn, but we might see next turn. But Nightwalk has a lot of ways to heal him back. He can armor smith, he can hero power, which is another hero power to heal. Lovelychook, I think you do play the Nova Burst, just 2 additional damage from the Tunnel Truck as well. And you're not playing around anything like Alastraza or even Reno Jackson here, so did go for it and put his opponent down to 4, but Armor Smith is a great solution here. That Lovelychook remains stoic, but not actually too happy about this line of development here. Oh, 1 for 4 on the. Nepalom, not what you wanted. Does 3 and did clear. Actually, he might want go face, so he Dr. Boom could win for another round. But I think you play in a rage here on Dr. Boom, and indeed he goes for that. But this game for NightWalk, Lovelychook found lethal, doesn't have to wave his weapon even. Then we have Lovelychook into the winners match with Zihao, and we have NightWalk going to the losers bracket.